got a guest star with me today. Say hello, Liz.
Hi.
So this is the damaged fairing. As you can see where the indicator hit onto the ground and there's some scuff marks on there, you can see what it's done here to the fairing. So first thing we're going to do is on the underside, we've got 2 screws here which we're going to undo with a Phillips screwdriver so that we can take the indicator off. And then what we need to do is we need to get this plastic seated back into the right place before we use a fiberglass resin kit to repair it. So metal collar is going to come off, and then this rubber part here will fold back in on itself and push through. But we need to be really careful because what I don't want to do is damage the fairing any further. There it is. So now when I turn it over you can see actually all the damage that's been done across here. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to push that back together so that it's flush and it's flat, and then we're going to use the fiberglass kit around the back side here. Brilliant. So we've got part of it back flush here, but there's still a bit missing here. So when I turn it over I'm going to keep applying pressure until that's completely flat. As you can see, part of the fiberglass is sticking out, so what I'm going to do is use the Dremel tool to get rid of the rough edges so that I can flatten that section down. Hold this part of the fairing in place. Here's the kit that we're going to use, the fiberglass kit. So really important, some gloves. You've got the hardener, you've got the resin, so when we mix these two together it goes really hard, and then you've got the fiberglass sheets. We're going to cut the sheets into strips before we start, and then we're going to lay that down around the area. It's worth not mixing up too much resin in one go, because once it solidifies it's game over. So it's probably better to do a couple of batches. Just cutting them into small pieces so that when we use the resin, it will mould around all the corners and edges that we have. And we'll prep all this before we mix the resin and hardener together. The idea is just to rough up the surface so that the resin and the fiberglass and then we're going to degrease the area using methylated spirits. So just a bit of kitchen towel methylated spirits just to wipe away any of the dust, grit, grease. It's 10 ml of resin for every 2 to 3 centimetres of hardener, and as I mentioned before, it's better to mix up 2 batches rather than 1, which can then go hard. So it's about 10 ml. Also worth noting to do it in a well ventilated place because it does smell. There's the hardener. Okay, and then what we're going to do is take our fiberglass strips, make sure that they're nice and wetted with the resin, and start to put those into place. As the resin gets wet, the fiberglass will mould into shape.
You've done quite a lot so far.
Yeah, it's just a case of just taking it nice and slow, getting it all to stick right. So it's all done now, so we're just going to leave that to dry for a few hours and come back, and that should have that nice and hardened and sealed, and means then as the fairing vibrates when the bike goes, it shouldn't re-crack.